Marcelo, welcome aboard to the show today. So happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Harry, for the invitation. I'm very happy as well to be here with you.
So, Marcelo, everybody can hear that you have an accent, but you are calling in from one of my favorite places in the world. So tell us a little bit about where you're calling in from.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm calling from Campinas, state of São Paulo, Brazil, and it's a very nice place here. We really love Brazil and all the culture that we have now, taking the opportunity to spread the word as well.
And people know about, of course, the Carnival, but Brazilians have amazing food. And if you don't know what a caipirinha is, then you need to go to Brazil and try it out. So I'm a big fan of Brazil, so I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate that. Um, and maybe we can meet someday because I'm very excited to bring my wife to Brazil. We're
That's fantastic.
we're talking about cybersecurity today, and specifically about, I think many people will say, the weak spot in cybersecurity, which is human beings.
Yeah.
So I just this is true. Yesterday, I literally did my annual cybersecurity training,
Uh-huh.
and it was 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and that's it. And I don't touch it for the rest of the year. And I was thinking to myself, that doesn't make sense. So I wanted to just explore with you a little bit of the problems
Mhm.
that what are the issues that you are seeing today with how cybersecurity training is happening across the industry?
Yeah, that's very important. I know that we don't feel secure when have one training per year, 30 minutes, and it's done. I think we have each day we have more sophisticated attacks, phishing emails, for example. There is a lot of new information that is getting from the scammers, for example, and also there's a lot of information that we are sharing. Uh, on the internet, on all these social medias and so on. So it's very important to be very current to all these issues, all technologies that are being raised all the time, and see how you need to behave using all these technologies. So it's very important for me to understand that we are evolving a lot in tech, but we need to take care as well to start it to use without knowing uh, what is happening to your data, you know?
This is such an interesting point because, sure, maybe after you did the training for the next month or two, you're going to be mindful of cybersecurity, but in
Hmm.
2, 3 next quarter, you forgot about it.
Yeah.
You've lost it, right? So it's such an
Hmm.
interesting paradigm. Um, and the other thing is, I got this news item. We talk about phishing emails and, detecting if the email comes from a real source or not. This
Hmm.
happened 2 months ago. They were doing a phishing attack through LinkedIn.
Oh.
And what they were doing, it was a fake job posting.
Hmm.
So you're applying for a job which you think is
Hmm.
real. In LinkedIn, it looks real. It's LinkedIn, a reputable site. It's a fake
Yes.
job. And what do they
Hmm.
ask you to do? They ask you to run a piece of code in order to give feedback on their software.
Mm. My goodness.
I mean, that is, to me, that just feels, and obviously the code is malicious code, and of course it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, so how can we? The phishing attacks are getting really sophisticated.
Hmm.
As users, kind of encountering this new age of super sophisticated phishing attacks,
Hmm.
how do we stay cautious? How do we know that no, maybe this isn't a real job?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need to every time reinforce awareness in education because people needs to have a kind of a mindset to think 1, 2 seconds before they take some action. I think it's very important to them to have piles of information about all these type of attacks that we are having, but also develop on them a kind of suspicious mindset to think this is true. Is this a real? a job posting. Let me see if this company exists. So there's so many questions that you need, I think, to raise very quickly in the mindset when you saw, because social engineer will try to take you by some kind of things that you are passing. You are suffering without a job. So they know that LinkedIn is a place that for jobs is very important. And when you have a job posting, you are working, trying to be there to work for that position. So they take this as an advantage, and they count on a very fast action on the side of the people or of the person. So I think we need to help the development of a mindfulness, cybersecurity mindfulness thought, so they can take a breath and make one question. This if this is real. I saw some videos related to this in education. It was very small, and they said that I need to take care on that. So it's important to have some kind of visual information, very short pills of information for all these things that are happening, so you can see if they can be more aware
So
before to take an action.
this is, I agree actually. I think this is key. Developing a sense of paranoia really is what it is.
Mm,
But I recall that just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So in
yeah.
this case, they are out to get you. So
Mhm,
developing that sense of paranoia and asking like, is this real? Is there anything
mhm.
that I can do to validate that? Um, Another thing I would say is if you can just do another step of validation, right? Is this a real company? Do a Google search on them, find out
Yeah.
more information. You these cyber attacks sometimes they fall apart very quickly. They haven't gone and built out a company website and all this stuff. It's just that LinkedIn job post. They're expecting to catch you on that.
Mhm.
So doing that extra step is very important. I have a question to you. We're in a world now where countries are attacking each other through
Mm.
cybersecurity. Just today, China blamed the US of attacking them with cybersecurity, and then yesterday there was exactly the same thing, but going from US complaining to China, etc. Um,
Mhm.
if these cyber attacks are so sophisticated, funded by, in some cases, by governments, right, with
Governments.
large amounts
Mhm.
of money,
Mhm.
what chance do small companies have to even face this?
Mm. This is a very important question. It's tough for them. I think they need to rely sometimes in cybersecurity companies that raise a little bit of infrastructure in terms of cybersecurity as well to minimize uh, the high exposure that a small company could have. Understand also that they need to provide some kind of awareness in their employees because they are indeed targets from all these attacks. It will pass from a human, you know. It's not only technical. I think technically they have a lot of space to act, but also there is a human behind all these operations, not even in security, but also in operations and so on. So we need to build an army on our sides to be more aware of all these possibilities because it's not only on technology. We can't rely only in technology. When you said that the person is the weakest part, I think also it's the strongest part to fight against this, because if you have a person that is aware, making all the questions, knowing that if his job is cybersecurity specialist, for example, he will do all he can do in terms of protection, learn all these tactics, talk with other specialists to see if they are improving the controls, testing these controls periodically to see if they are working or not. So there is a lot of things that pass from the human, and I think this is the most important thing to
So
leverage this knowledge for everyone.
you said something really interesting here. I portrayed the human as the weakest link, but you're saying
Mhm.
that there's an opportunity for the human actually to be a stronger link or the strongest link. And you're
The
talking about
strongest.
almost like a community model of support and collaboration.
Mhm.
And what would that look like? What would a company who's trying to get their team to work together
Yeah,
to become strong, what would that look
yeah,
like? What would be the
yeah.
policies that they would put in place?
Yeah, Ari, I will tell you one story from a good friend that is in a big telco company here in Brazil, and he used it to work with me at IBM. And I'm seeing that the behavior from CISOs, for example, they are not more a person that hide things for everyone or don't share things with other ones, because this behavior in the past, it's not avoiding the attacks, the successful attacks. We saw that the attackers, they are united on doing things, strategies, one helping to each other. So what I'm seeing in the market right now, it's the CISOs, the people that are related to cybersecurity, they are more vocals. They are sharing more information. I saw this executive, it's a CISO for this big company, and he's doing a lot of security awareness sessions. He is inviting competitors to go to his company to talk about cybersecurity. He's bringing big vendors from Accenture, IBM, and other companies to talk about cybersecurity for their employees, cybersecurity analysts. They have more 300 or 400 employees, but also he's inviting people from the business, from different areas. Why? Because the topic is touching everyone. So I believe that we need to build this sense of community that everyone is responsible for cybersecurity. They need to understand all these possibilities to have their data leaked, for example. So it's important for each person. If they are doing his job, it's in a safe mode. He taking all cautions related to protecting that data. It's important. It's not for the company only, but the clients from that company. So I think this is the strongest thing that I'm seeing right now. It's this sense of community. CISOs are creating more and more events. They are sharing and sharing more tactics and what they are doing to see if they are succeeding to protect the data. Besides of that, it will be a fight from one person, a superhero, and there's no superhero. There is a community that can help more than just one person.
Yeah, so this is incredibly important, and I want to put this in perspective of what's historically happened. Um,
Mhm.
the companies have been fighting cybercrime individually. What's
Yeah,
happened on the, let's call it the criminal side, is that they've productized cybersecurity crime. So you
yeah,
can basically go and buy basically
an attack.
cybersecurity as a service, and you've
Yes.
got a platform, and you even have customer success that will explain to you how to use your malware software to attack. So cybersecurity is kind of, I would argue, maybe a little bit behind. While the criminals
Hmm.
are collaborating, they're building platforms, they're productizing
Yes.
basically these cyber attacks. So I would argue we have to catch up. We have to catch up. And what you're talking about in response to collaboration, that's not only at the level of the CISOs, that's wonderful, and companies collaborating, but it's also
Hmm.
at the level of individual users.
Individuals.
How,
Yes.
if I'm a just, run of the mill person, right? How can I
Hmm.
support, create community around cybersecurity? What are the things that I can do in my company?
Okay. Uh, I saw some examples from one healthcare company that we use it to work with that, and it's very interesting. I want to share with you. As we do a kind of a gamified way of educating people, we recognize the first, the second, the third place, for example, in a season of the education. And the first person was a nurse in this company. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's responsible for taking care of people in the hospital, for example, and she was the first one in the season. And I tried to understand what happened. And she talked that she took all that was required by the company in terms of doing all the awareness and so on. But she was reporting a lot of good habits, behaviors in cyber that through the gamified aspect of the game, it was giving her a lot of points. And at the end, she was bringing all that information that she was sharing internally in the company to family. So I saw one person that was not limited to the space of the company, reporting things related what she was doing in a cyber mode, cyber safe mode, if I can say like that. But she was also reporting things that she was taking care in his home. And this was recognized by the healthcare company as well as a good behavior. So I saw that if you empower people to report, to be rewarded, recognized by good behaviors, I think this is spread. And you see people starting to do that in a regular way. I give you one example. In the past, when you go in a car, you could have a fee if you not push the belt. Okay, so this is a cybersecurity behavior. Okay, to enter in the car, you know that there is risk involved on that, so you push the belt. Now it is a safe behavior or recognized behavior if a person install their Instagram account or LinkedIn account and they enable MFA. It's the same. So they need to be recognized by doing that, not punished, you know? So if you
This is
create
brilliant.
this
So
environment,
this is brilliant. So you're right, because that's what we do today. We only punish, but we
yes.
know that, based on social psychology research and
Hmm.
based on raising our children, that
Hmm. Yes.
positive reinforcement, right?
Yes.
Positive reinforcement works better than negative
Yes.
reinforcement. So
Yes.
why don't we have in our companies a culture of positive reinforcement? If you report something to IT and it's real, you get celebrated. If you
Hmm.
support a friend in the company, teach them about something, help them to put on MFA, help them to set up password manager, like if you're
Yes.
sharing the knowledge,
Yeah.
then that should be reinforced.
Hmm.
The, I'll tell a secret to our audience. Marcelo, as he was saying, they have a company. They do a lot of this from a platform perspective.
Uh-huh.
But my point is, sure, absolutely, go look into what Marcelo and his company does. But this concept of positive reinforcement is incredibly, incredibly important. And whether you work with somebody like Marcelo or you just do a policy in your company that is using
Hmm.
that tactic and you're creating that culture, I think even that, if you don't have the money, is a great, great, great idea,
Yeah.
because it has huge value to create that culture of supporting each
Yeah.
other on
Yeah.
cybersecurity. I appreciate that. Um, Marcelo, we don't do product placement and we don't talk about products and companies, but I do want you just to mention the name of the company if anybody wants to reach out to you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's Hacker Rangers. You can find us in hackerrangers.com or also going to G2 platform where we have a lot of IT vendors over there. Through cybersecurity awareness and gamification category, you can find also our solution over there and see all the reviews that we have.
The what I really loved about kind of what I discovered through the discussion with Marcelo is that there's a lot of really interesting psychology and building of community. Now, if if you don't want to spend money on a platform, I think you can do this also manually through policy, but it's
Hmm.
much more work, of course.
Yeah,
But the psychology is incredibly interesting, so I thought
yeah,
it was absolutely
yeah.
fascinating. Um, Marcelo, we have just one question. Um, You've had a long career in cybersecurity with IBM. You started as an
Hmm.
IT guy. You started from the
Hmm.
roots of the technical stuff. I think you were in IBM for almost 19 years, which is
Yeah.
a long trajectory in a big company. If you had to go back to 20 something year old Marcelo, what would you advise him?
Uh, I think I think wow, that's like a very nice questions. Very nice question. I think I would start in security earlier. I'm really passionate about that. Also, now I'm more excited through the psychology and the power of education. But I think if I started in security, the mindset of cybersecurity since the beginning in 1994, when I started as an intern in IT, I truly could be in another position right now. And I taught my twins, they have 17 years old, and I said, if you want a long career, you can go for cyber because threats are increasing a lot. And we need people in this area. There is a lack of professionals in cyber, and I'm very passionate about that. I want to develop more and more people.
So this is a really important point. There's a massive lack of cybersecurity professionals. So if
Yeah,
you are 16, 17, 18 years old,
yeah,
if you go
go
into
through.
healthcare, you'll do well because unfortunately people will always be sick. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, we're always going to have cybersecurity issues. So it's a great career, and there's a huge amount of jobs that we just can't fill here in the States and also all over the world. And so
Yes.
so it's a I'll put my little bit of advocacy there as well. Marcelo, thank you so much for joining the program today. I appreciate your time.
So thank you so much for the invitation. I was very happy to be here with you. Thank you.